The first time I saw a Mak Yong performance that left an impact was a performance by Cik Ning.
In Thailand at that time, Cik Ning's Mak Yong was unparalleled. She was superior. Her voice was beautiful. She was a clever performer.
Artistic legacy is intrinsic in Asian cultures, especially so when a tradition spans several generations. The Malaysian tradition of the Mak Yong is one such example. This is the story of a legendary woman and performer, of an ancient lineage and a new initiation. The dance theatre form of the Mak Yong is the oldest theatre form among the Malays of Peninsular Malaysia. It is primarily performed in the 12 provinces of Patani in South Thailand and Kelantan on the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. Mak Yong predates the 14th century arrival of Islam. It is widely believed that its origins were in indigenous tribal systems. Its principal function is shamanic, rooted in healing ceremonies. Others believe that Mak Yong had divine connections to the Javanese deity Semar and to agricultural rites associated with the Makyong, the rice spirit. Cik Som binti Sulong, known as Cik Ning, was born in 1938 in the Narathiwat region of South Thailand. She is descended from a direct lineage of Mak Yong actresses. She was the 7th generation. As a unique form of dramatic entertainment, Mak Yong combines acting, singing, dance, drama, romance and comedy. Malaysia's first Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman, once described it as an embodiment of Malay culture. Cik Ning is claimed to be the greatest Mak Yong actress of our time. Her personal history is recounted by her closest friend and confidant, Mak Su Ti.
I know about the problems in Cik Ning's life, even about her personal history prior to her being in Mak Yong. I know. When she was 10, her parents took her touring with them, going wherever they performed Mak Yong. There weren't motor vehicles at that time. They had to walk from Thailand. That's how difficult it was. By the time Cik Ning was 12, she was married. After her marriage, she brought herself around, touring and performing Mak Yong. Soon after, she was pregnant with her daughter, Cik Judah.
I am the sole offspring of both parents being from a Mak Yong background. Truly, I have artistry in my lineage.
After the birth of her child, her husband married another woman. She started leading her own troupe. That's how her position was elevated. She led her own troupe and she remarried. His name was Cik Had. She performed everywhere, and it was then that I saw her perform Mak Yong. My siblings and I watched her.
She knew how to captivate people. She was highly skilled. Even when she conversed with people, she was cool and composed.
I was crazy about Cik Ning's Mak Yong. I was affectionate about Cik Ning, feeling compatible with her. I couldn't sleep when I went home, constantly thinking about Cik Ning, wanting to perform Mak Yong.
Mak Su Ti then became a student of Mak Yong under Cik Ning. This was the beginning of a friendship that would last a lifetime. Mak Su Ti's brother, Pak Sumat, also became a student of Mak Yong.
I soon fell in love with her, thinking I could perform Mak Yong with her. I was in love. Even though she was ugly, I could not stay still, I could not eat, could not sleep. I couldn't even get close with my wife.
Cik Ning's husband got so jealous, he asked somebody to shoot Pak Sumat. I heard about the plan and pleaded my brother to retreat, give up the stage and return to work in the village. Cik Ning said to me, "Ti, don't return. Let your brother leave. You don't leave. Whatever you ask of me, I will fulfill it."
As Mak Yong is a predominantly female form, gender roles and the transference of gender is an important part of Mak Yong. Women play the principal characters, while men continue to play the instruments and act in secondary roles. When a female performer takes on the role of a male king, it is empowering, and in an altered state, the theory is that the marginalized are mobilized to express themselves.
It was while I was already performing with Cik Ning. My hairstyle was cut like a man. I played the hero. Cik Ning was the heroine. We flirted while we were acting. Her husband wasn't angry because we were both women. It was while we were acting and flirting that I was able to speak out and say, "Please help me. I love you. I want to marry you, but I can't. We're both women. I wish to ask you to be my sister-in-law. I want you to marry my brother." Okay, she would fulfill my wish.
So she separated from her husband. I didn't separate with my wife. I took her and brought her to Malaysia.
Cik Ning eloped and escaped. I returned to my village, worried and restless, so I ran off to perform in a Manora troupe.
The life of Cik Ning and Mak Su Ti seems to have all the elements of glamour, scandal and high drama. This was the life of the Mak Yong actresses, set amongst the backwaters of rural Malaysia and Thailand.
Suddenly, Cik Ning returned after 1 year. She searched for me. I was performing Manora. She wanted to take me back, but the Manora troupe wouldn't allow her. Cik Ning challenged the Manora troupe to a tournament. This is not possible, I thought to myself. Cik Ning is my guru. If we challenge her, we will surely lose. So, after losing 4 more tournaments, I fled back to perform with Cik Ning. I went everywhere to perform, as far as Kedah and Langkawi, performing with Cik Ning and my brother, Pak Sumat. Suddenly, after 10 years of marriage, she divorced Pak Sumat.
After divorcing her, I married 7 others.
Cik Ning and I revived Mak Yong. We reunited our friends. Cik Ning then rose to greater heights.
Their performance life in Thailand came to a halt in 1979 when the troupe was raided by a group referred to as Islamic communists from the Apollo Party. They had heard about their performance and prevented them from performing as it was against Islam.
The assailants entered carrying huge firearms, taking all our belongings, our drums, our musical instruments. It was then that Cik Ning and I decided not to remain in Thailand. It broke our hearts, but we decided we should leave and move to Kelantan. Yes, this is the story of Cik Ning and I.
They crossed the border into Malaysia and started performing in Kelantan. They managed to avoid trouble for several months until one night, all were arrested. As they had no documents, they remained in prison for over 2 weeks, 33 of them, musicians and all. Just as they were about to be repatriated to Thailand, a compassionate police officer decided to help.
Cik Ning didn't want to speak. She felt ashamed. She felt distant, reminded of the communist attack in Thailand, coming to Malaysia and getting caught.
Orang kriminal rampas masuk di Malaysia, kerajaan tangkap, jadi dia jauh hatilah.
I appealed to the state, the immigration, saying I didn't want to return to Thailand, that I wanted to die here.
They settled in Kuala Besut, a tiny fishing village on the border of Kelantan and Terengganu. It eventually became a community of resettled Mak Yong performers. They continued performing in small village funfairs, but this also marked the beginning of a constant struggle for performance and survival. The Kelantanese view of angin encompasses the notions of human desire and temperament. It is the fundamental essence of any art form, and unfulfilled desires can often lead to various illnesses. In extreme cases, this can lead to insanity. Cik Ning's family has had a collective consciousness of Mak Yong in their ancestry. As described by the Western psychologist Carl Jung, the concept of race memory is what leads to the continuation of any art form. Cik Ning's granddaughter, Lisa, is 16 years old. Unlike other teenagers, she has a very strong angin. This repressed emotion led her to drop out of school as she was distracted and was suffering from mood swings. Mak Su Ti knew that Lisa was suffering from sakit berangin, a repression of angin, and knew that it was time for her initiation into the Mak Yong. Her time had come. The agenda was set. The performance would be on for 3 nights, culminating in an intense trance ceremony on the final night. The preparations are elaborate and highly ritualistic. The entire village knew that this was a performance of great importance. Mak Su Ti had meticulously organized the entire event. The rebab, or spiked fiddle, holds a revered and sacred position in the Mak Yong. It is the symbol of the universal teacher, the first guru. It has connections to the supernatural world and the world of healing. It is through this and the voice of the singing shaman that spirits are invoked and brought down to the venue of a healing ceremony. On the first night of the performance, the presence of a Tokteri is needed. He is a practitioner of Main Pateri, an ancient form of trance healing. He invokes her angin or inner winds and encourages her to release it. As she continues to slowly release the emotions in her, the Tokteri diagnoses her ailment and begins the process of healing. As this is an initiation ritual, the patient and her guide take on the role of the Mak Yong, the princely hero. The headdress is sacred. It is symbolic of the mahkota or crown, synonymous with kings and queens. Every performance begins with the lagu menghadap rebab, or rebab salutation song. It is an ornate and highly elaborate song which salutes the instrument and the awakening of the mysterious impulse of angin. The guide leads the performance and recounts the story of the Dewa Muda, the story of a young prince who falls in love with a princess who lives in a kingdom high above the clouds. There are 12 main stories in the Mak Yong. All stories are symbolic of kings and demigods. These stories, music and songs have been handed down for centuries by oral tradition. Once the performance begins, it continues without a break. There are no acts or scenes. The performers move in circles as a transition from one place to another. The role of the perans or clowns helps to dispel certain moments. They are an integral part of the Mak Yong experience. As the second night of the performance continues, it is obvious that Lisa is still learning. Her hand movements are not as fluid. She does not possess the grace of a dancer yet. This is only her initiation. In 1991, Cik Ning was invited for a performance in New York, together with several other masters of traditional Malaysian art forms. This was a point of recognition for an artist like Cik Ning. After the trip, things took a turn.
1 month after Cik Ning returned from New York, she developed heart problems. Cik Ning told me, "I can't live on. I can't live on. I'm weak. I can't live." That's what she told me. If I tell it to this point, I can become teary. I weep out of sadness. Sadness not because Cik Ning was suffering. Her friends took care of her. Sadness because I had been with Cik Ning since I was 24. Now I'm over 50, and she's passed on, that's why. Cik Ning and I seldom fought, we seldom quarrelled, we seldom had misunderstandings. I took good care of Cik Ning. She cared for me very well. She passed away on the 8th floor of the Kubang Krian Hospital. I was the only one at her side. Nobody else.
Cik Ning, the greatest Mak Yong actress of our time, died on the 11th of February, 1995. For Cik Ning and Mak Su Ti, Mak Yong was their life, their passion, and it kept them together for over 25 years.
In both our lives, there was nobody else who was as close to her. To the extent that it mattered not if I didn't marry anyone else, as long as I was with Cik Ning. Without Cik Ning, a part of me is missing, my shoulder. That's all I can say about the life of Cik Ning with me.
Mak Su Ti went mad with grief for over 3 years. She says that she felt like a boat overturned on a stormy sea.
It is only this year, in 1998, that I feel like reviving Mak Yong. It is my desire to revive the legacy of Cik Ning. Yes, if I don't recollect the history of Cik Ning and gather her legacy, it's highly possible that her children and grandchildren will not be able to remember her story.
The final day begins. There are many preparations which are specific for the night's performance. It will be the culmination of 2 nights' work and healing. The Balai Dewa Pencil is built. In it will house figurines made of rice flour and water. These figures represent food, animals and objects that are present in a kingdom. Also, betel nut and sirih leaves are offerings. Yellow glutinous rice is an integral offering of all folk rituals. The colour itself has always been associated with royalty in Malaysia. Tonight, the ceremony will last till dawn, as Liza will be given the opportunity to release all her pent-up angin. There are 2 dokteris present tonight, as many are expected to go into a trance. The procession comes in. The umbrellas are symbolic of royalty and of its princely entourage. It becomes a pageant of the ancients, with Mak Su Ti urging the performers on, reminding them of the pride of their Mak Yong lineage. Pak Sumat, Liza's uncle and Cik Ning's 3rd husband, takes on the role of the Pak Yong. He will guide her through tonight's rituals. It is apparent that Cik Ning's generational angin is present in all of Liza's sisters. Her angin will be put to the test tonight. The trance is contagious as more and more women succumb to the rising tempo. On all fours, the women circle the offerings and go to the pool of water to drink. It is often women who are more susceptible to trance. In a ritual performance arena, the expression of repressed emotion becomes acceptable. As Liza slumps again and again after each trance, she rises as she feels the need to do more. Then, she is possessed by the angin of the silat, the Malay art of self-defense. The Balai Dewa Pencil is taken to the far end of the field. the ceremony ends almost 4 hours after it began. The continuation of Cik Ning's legacy is the promise that Mak Su Ti has made. Now that Liza has been initiated and her angin released, she will need to perform regularly to maintain the balance that is so required. This marks the beginning of the 9th generation of Mak Yong in Cik Ning's family. For Mak Su Ti, the process of continuing Cik Ning's legacy has only just begun. This is now her life's work. The pageant of the ancients has to continue for the memory of Cik Ning to live on, and for the dying art of Mak Yong to be remembered for generations to come.